Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Greg's Handyman Services. Been a pretty good morning this morning so far. Yesterday we got the drywall knocked out here at this house down in Bedford, Indiana. Got to sand it today, do a little bit of touch up. I'll show you guys how I do the touch up work. That way I know where my touch ups were. Got to do some insulation underneath the house. We have to get that buttoned up, that way nothing freezes. Temperature's really starting to drop down here. We're getting down in the 30s at night, so we gotta get that going so they don't get some busted pipes. But if we get that done, then we will be moving on to building our own door frames. We got some door. This is a mobile home. And as a lot of you guys know, the door frames are like 3.5 inches wide, and your normal's 4.5, 5. So we got to make our own, which is not a big deal. It's simple to do. I'll show you guys how to do that. And so we're making our own door frames, and then hanging some doors. That way we have they can close their doors when they go use the restroom. We will be setting the toilet today. Hopefully buttoning up this bathroom today. Honestly, they opted out for me to paint it. The bathroom, they're going to have their daughter-in-law paint it for them. So I'm not painting the bathroom now. I'm just going to be putting the vanity back in, setting the toilet back down, and buttoning everything up so they can get it finished and painted, so I can get it back in there and knock out the trim work. So, and then once we get that going, we have to go to the other side of the house, hang some drywall, get it mudded, patch a few holes where they punched it with a hammer or whatever because they were looking for a leak. And once we get that going, I got a vanity I got to set in that bathroom, and they'll be cooking with gas in there. So, not literally, but we will. I'll definitely take you guys along. It won't be very long videos. I'm still on my phone for right now, and my content, it can't be very long. I have like an hour and 5 minutes that I'm able to record. So eventually I'd like to be able to record the majority of my day, walking around doing measurements, the whole 9 yards, but I'm not able to right now. And obviously you won't see that. I don't want you to watch an 8-hour long video. I would edit it down to, to a smaller video, but right now it's tough to have all the content that I want to be able to get you guys a good video. That's my thing. I want to be able to get you guys an enjoyable video, something that you can thoroughly learn from. I can show you. I know here coming up, the contractor that I work with, we'll be doing some crown molding together. He does a lot. Like I said, he does a lot of landscaping and things like that, and he doesn't really get the gist of it yet. So we're gonna be working with him with that. On Tuesday, we will be going to a house in Ellettsville, which is Monroe County, which is home of the IU, and we'll be going there. We did the whole house. I'd say about 6 months ago. We did the whole house of flooring and trim and things like that. Now she wants me to come back and do her bathroom, so we'll be going back there on Tuesday to rip out everything and put all new back in. It shouldn't take too long. We're still waiting on one box of flooring. So I'm gonna do what I can do, and then I'll have to just wait for the rest. So, but that shouldn't take very long, and I'll let you guys know eventually, profit wise, what we can push out here in our area. I hear a lot of these handymen out here, and it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. And there's a lot of guys that can do it, but for us around here, if we have 2 guys, 3 guys, I think with 3 guys, we charge $100 an hour for 3 guys. Myself, I don't typically charge by the hour. My theory is and you guys may look at it the same way. If I go to a house and it's just let's say you got a toilet leak or got a sink leak or something small, and it could be just as simple as tightening a nut back up if it was loose, tightening the drain back up. It could be replacing a supply line. That stuff doesn't take very long. And if I tell them, okay, yeah, I got a $45 an hour, now I charge $55 an hour, but I go in there, yeah, it's gonna cost $55 an hour, blah 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 blah. We'll get it fixed for you. And then I go there, and it ends up being, just tightening up a drain nut because it somehow got loose, been bumped or whatever, and it started to leak. Tighten that up, fix the problem. I'm only there for 10-15 minutes. Well, that homeowner, a lot of them will expect you to only charge them for the time that you were there. That's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? So if I do charge by the hour, or if there's something that I know is going to be quick, I'll say, okay, look, $55 an hour with a 1 hour minimum. So I said, regardless, I'm making $55 an hour. If you're within my 20-mile radius, you're okay. If not, you're getting charged a trip fee. So there's a lot to it that we have to break down, and sometimes it's tough, especially when you're first starting. And I was that way. I was very scared on giving people estimates and quotes, and just due to the fact that you don't know if they're going to accept it. I think my largest job yet was an $8,000 job, and it took me about a week, but it was a good paying job. And when I sent that quote out, it was the toughest quote I've ever had in my life. It was unbearable. I was nervous wreck, and now that I've only been in business for a year, but I've learned a lot from mentors and my dad, that he had a business, and other people that I've known. You have to stand your ground. As soon as you start showing a weakness, or even in your own mind, they don't even know you yet. They don't even know that you're showing a weakness, but to yourself, when you're showing that weakness, you're showing you're not confident in what you can do and what you're charging. And I've come to realize that you have to be confident in everything that you do, and your estimates and quotes. So you just be confident. So we'll get to it here. I can tell they're starting to move a little bit, so we'll get in here and get this drywall sanded down, get that buttoned up, get that vanity back in, get the toilet set. We got to fix the guts in the toilet. The guts were bad. So we'll be doing that, and I'll show you guys that, and then back. I got the vanity in, as you can tell. It's a used vanity, but we're putting it back in because we replaced the flooring. We did replace the shutoff. The entire house is PEX water pipe, which is good. And they have these guys on here. Not the greatest thing to have for other people to come back behind you and do repairs. So we got rid of these PVC guys and put on the good old Shark Bites right on the PEX. Good stuff. Shark Bites, the best thing ever was invented. Got those on there. Now we got to get the sink top on and get the faucet all hooked up. I'll show you. Alright, so we're back. Show you guys a quick little tip you can take for the day. Got your channel locks. This is a nice pair of Cobalt. It's probably backwards for you guys, but Cobalt channel locks. Obviously you know how to do the right size. When you're tightening, loosening, whatever you gotta do, if you're turning with the head of your pliers, see if I'm tightening this way, right? I'm coming this way to tighten. That's what backwards for you guys, but whatever. When you're tightening, whichever way you're going, you want to go your pliers the opposite. If that makes sense. So I'll show you here. When I'm pulling, if I pull, my pliers want to open. It takes a lot more force
to hold that, and your pliers want to open. But if you turn them around, put your closing side, your secondary side, which on these, this is your mandatory, this is your main right here. Has the hole where all the grooves go into. That's this side. That's your main side. And then you have your secondary side that attaches into it. So you want your secondary side to the way you're turning. So when you do it, it kind of acts the same way as a plumber's wrench. You know, your pipe wrench. They tighten when you tighten. The handles actually come together and tighten. It doesn't take hardly any strength to turn it. You know, by hand. You don't have to squeeze the pliers that hard. They tighten themselves up. So we're nice and tight. That seal's tightened in there. Take our other one, put it on by hand, and then take your pliers, tighten it down the way that we mentioned. And sometimes, if you're underneath the sink, having your pliers the correct way, it's not always possible. You know, sometimes if you have a wrench, you have to sometimes flip the wrench over. A wrench acts as the same thing. It tightens itself. It doesn't pull it apart. So, when you're underneath the sink, sometimes you can't do this. But a trick to that is if you're on here, don't grab them where you normally would grab them. Normally you would grab a pair of channel locks right here, right up at the base. Your hand has a good grip. If you have no room hardly, come to the very end. And if you have to do it backwards, you have a lot more leverage. You got to remember, the longer you are, the more leverage you have. Just with wire cutters, I'll show you that one day too. Wire cutters are a big one. If you're in the process of, you're doing something, wire cutters that are short-handled, even your normal 12-2 wire, is a pain in the butt. It doesn't work out so great. So what you have to do is get a long, nice pair. My favorite pair is the Klein. Klein are the absolute, these aren't Klein, these are Cobalt, but the Klein wire cutters are the absolute best wire cutters on the market. They stay sharp, they're perfect, as long as you don't get somebody that's gonna tell you, oh yeah, the power's off, and then your pliers blow up. You don't want to do that. So get the longer ones. Sometimes you get shorter ones, it doesn't really matter, but these are your medium size. This came in a 3-pack. Had the short, medium, as these. I don't have the long ones with me, but the real long ones. So